What did inspire you to form a reggae band, you and your brother?
Well, music runs in the family. So our father, Ronnie Benjamin Sr., is a musician and singer. So we've been coming from generationally playing music, but now when we find out the root and the truth of world politics and become from adolescent to adult, then we had to take some stands about what it is we want to contribute to. Yeah, man.
The guy breathe upon them in a dry bone, did no commandment. They be lightning and thunder. Follow the ark of the covenant over yonder. Shut up on the same band like King Singer's great grandfather. Who did he give me?
Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. In the illustrious history of reggae, we have witnessed many artists and groups deserving of the term legendary, but very few are deserving of that description as the Great Midnite. Since Emperor Selassie's visit to Jamaica sparked the birth of roots reggae in 1966, it's almost impossible to find a band that went as hard as this St. Croix Virgin Islands group with regard to spirituality and social commentary, or one with such a passionate fan base. I just know that right now, disciples of Bob Marley and Peter Tosh, the Burning Spear or Culture are already disagreeing with me in the comment section, but do hear me out. I've been a reggae fan all my life, and I've never seen a fan base as fanatical as Midnite's, and that is saying a lot. They emerged at a time when dancehall was simply at its peak period in the mid-1990s and will slowly grow into the most powerful reggae force on the globe by the turn of the new millennium, drawing inevitable comparisons to Bob Marley and the Wailers as to which group was greater. They were uncompromising, brilliant, and fundamentalist reggae icons. They were hailed as all-time legends, not just by the powerful fan base, but from older reggae icons like David Hines of Steel Pulse and Ducky Simpson of Black Uhuru as being among the all-time greatest, with music that transcended entertainment and on the level of a movement and almost a religious experience in the 25 years of its existence. But what truly made Midnite, or Akae Beka as they were later known, such a devastating band? First things first, I'll start with the great Vaughn Benjamin. I personally believe this man had the highest IQ on the reggae scene. He was extremely intelligent and a bookworm with unrivaled knowledge of history, sociology, world events, philosophy, and scripture, among other disciplines. In terms of songwriting, his sparkling abilities as a poet saw him pen thousands of wonderful songs, most of which he never wrote down but would pour straight from his head into the microphone without putting pen to paper. And all Midnite fans agree on one thing: Vaughn Benjamin's lyrics were not of this world. His ethereal, sincere voice and chanting would strike a chord with his listeners like none before him. And though you couldn't call him a crooner in the mold of a Gregory Isaacs or Dennis Brown, his powerful vocals impacted hearts and minds in an undeniable way. I like to describe him as reggae's true philosopher king, and he became a lightning rod to millions of devoted followers around the globe who cherished his teachings and would be inspired by his words. After concerts, Vaughn Benjamin would hold panel-like discussions or talks that were like master classes, where he would dissect deep issues in the realms of politics, history, and every topic under the sun. And these talks attracted politicians, lawyers, doctors, and important people who came around not just for the music, but to tap from his insights and wisdom. The next incredible fact about this group was their phenomenal sound and hard-driving one-drop reggae rhythms. When they emerged, they were like a group who had just stepped out of 1975. Their rhythms were raw, hypnotic, and earthy. A prime example of their sound were the instrumentals on the track Love the Life You Live. Of their first album, Unpolished. The true dynamo and the heartbeat of their sound was the phenomenal music genius in Vaughn Benjamin. Where his younger brother Vaughn's gifts lay in singing and vocals, Ron took after their father, Ron Benjamin Sr., and became proficient with instruments from a very young age, and mastered the keyboard, guitar and bass before he graduated from high school. The Benjamin brothers would recruit other instrumentalists like Joe Strauss on the bass and Dion Hopkins on the drums. But Ron Benjamin was the undeniable sonic architect of the Midnite sound. Unlike other bands of the post-golden era of reggae, Midnite rhythms are actually quite disciplined and almost repetitive, but very hypnotic and catchy. I I believe Vaughn Benjamin is one of the most under-celebrated roots reggae producers of his generation, but that is a story for another day. The next thing that made this band so great is that they never sold out or chased easy crossover successes. As said earlier, when they became popular in 1994, dancehall was a multi-billion-dollar industry and reggae bands like Inner Circle were racking up big numbers with music that leaned towards a polished pop or world music sound. And while they certainly had the talent and the skills to back crossover hits if they had wanted to, they kept everything fundamental. And though their rise to fame was sort of slow, it was steady and authentic. They never watered down their sound, and instead of hustling to get distributed by major labels, they built an organic system by collaborating with a network of independent producers and small record labels that respected their artistic freedom, allowing them to express themselves properly. In fact, their first album, Unpolished, saw a limited release in the African country of Namibia in 1997 before it got discovered as one of the greatest albums of the 1990s, and I believe among the greatest of all time. And though they are hardly ever mentioned when the Rasta Renaissance of the 1990s is discussed, they were definitely among the first members and drivers of that movement. And another incredible thing about this wonderful band were their live shows. Every concert weren't just them doing easy formulas and playing for sing-alongs, but each one an epic throwdown and semi-religious experience. From the early days of their careers, they would put in 2 to 3 hour shows in which they would belt out their phenomenal music at a blistering pace without skipping a beat. And in between songs, the great philosopher Vaughn Benjamin would blow the audience's mind for a minute or two with his teachings before launching back into the music. Vaughn's stage presence was unique, is that he didn't skank energetically like a usual reggae frontman. He would sway and barely move, but his voice and delivery were commanding and always riveting. And I believe the most striking feature about this group was how prolific they were with their insanely productive outputs in the 25-year run. Their music wasn't just genius-level spellbinding material, but it was released constantly at a superhuman pace of an average of at least 2 albums a year, and in total, they would put out more than 60 albums. And the most amazing part of all this is that they produced this high level of quantity without the slightest drop in quality. Putting this in context, Gregory Isaacs and Dennis Brown were just as, if not more prolific, but the quality of their music dipped badly at a point. In fact, Jamaican reggae artist Lutan Fyah revealed he was stunned when he visited Midnite at their studio in the early 2000s and would witness them record 18 great songs in a single day. I could spend the whole day talking about everything that I love about this band, as there was so much to celebrate. After rebranding into Akae Beka in 2014, the amazing band came to an end with the sudden passing of Vaughn Benjamin in 2019 at the age of 50. With a sizzling track record and reputation as the quintessential and the classic modern reggae band for the 21st century, but to me and the worldwide fan base, they are simply among the top acts of all time. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, God bless.